Hello my friends, welcome to another episode of Stephanie's Stamp Pad where we get together and make a card, and today's card is all about thinking of you. Now look at how cute this little card is. It's A1 in size, meaning it's an invitation size. So you know when you think of those little invitations that you purchase, it's a little smaller than A2 in size, and it's just cute and mini. And you open it up and it stands up and it just says thinking of you. What a great little card to create for someone just when they need a little pick-me-up. And you know what? The best part about it is it's easy to do. What do you need to create this card? The first thing you need, of course, is the die set. This is the die set I designed for Sizzix. It's 660712. It's the mini, notice this little word down here, mini stand-up set. This is thinking of you. Also what we're going to use, ever so lightly, we're going to use the stamp set Hello that I designed for Sizzix. And we're going to do a little bit inking, and that's it. It's easy. Are you ready to get started? The first thing we want to do, and this is how I always start every card, is I die cut my card base. So I'm taking my die here, and I'm going to get my cardstock, and I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to lay my card down, and I'm going to run this through. But I'm going to be a little tricky this time. Because I have my extended magnetic platform, I'm going to get a little tricky, and I'm going to die cut a little bit more. So what am I going to die cut? I'm going to lay right here. Let's move this over just a little bit, so we make sure we have enough room. I'm going to add the layering die right here. I'm going to lay that down. And I even have enough room. Let's see if I can add some of the little white flowers. So let's see. Oh, we just used random white flowers. So we're just going to grab some white flowers here. And we're going to die cut these as well. Now I'm going to get a little tricky in that I'm actually going to be using the white on top of the blue. That's okay to do, and I'm just going to get extra flowers. Any of the flowers I don't use, I'm just going to put back in the envelope, the storage envelope, and save them for another time. Now I am using the whole extended magnetic platform, so I'm going to use the big cutting pad, and I'm going to run all that through the machine at the same time. Now, remember I said we were going to be doing some stamping, and I know you really can't see much stamping on there. But to add a little bit of extra interest to that blue background paper, we're going to stamp the word hello. Just to kind of give it a little bit more interest than just a standard blue paper. So now we have our background layer. We have our flowers, and as long as there's not a score line, you can cut 2 layers at a time of the cardstock. We're just going to give that a little poke out. Make sure it comes out here. Come on. It's saying, I want to stay in there. And then we do have this extra blue one. Now we can use that on this card, or we can just save it for another project. And we have our white one here. And poke that guy didn't like that one as much. Oh, he did, okay. And then we're gonna add this white one. Just kind of peel that up. And lastly, we have this blue one. And we'll just save the blue ones for another time. Okay, now, oh, we also have the card base. Dun, 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 look at that. So now the die cut and scored the card base for me. I'm going to fold it on that score line that the die created, lining up my corners, and then you can see that I have the perfect spot for my layering sheet. Now before I do my layering sheet, I am going to get some scratch paper, and I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to stamp that cute little hello. Look at all these options I have here. I'm going to use this cute little hello right here. I'm just going to open this up, grab that little guy, and I want to get a little block. Let's see if I can find a little block easy enough. Oh, here's one. So we're going to get this little block, and we're going to get our little stamp, and we're going to use our sky ink. Ink that up. Stamp. Stamp. Now, normally, this is funny, normally I would tell you to stamp off the edge, but if I stamp off the edge a little, the word hello, and I leave the O off, ooh, that's not a good word to have, right? So we're not going to necessarily stamp off the edge completely on this one. We don't want to have a bad word on there, right? So we're just going to, that's why I actually die cut this one first. I just want to make sure that I don't have any mistakes or any little snafus or malfunctions, crafting malfunctions, right? So there we have it, just randomly stamped. And then we're going to add this to our card base. And notice how there's red all the way around. Fantastic. And then what we're going to do is we're going to die cut the navy part of, or the midnight color actually, of the thinking of you. So that's going to be over here. we're gonna use two dies. We're gonna use the scalloped and the outer square to make sure that it die cuts itself. We're gonna lay that down. And then we're gonna get some of the leaves out because our flowers need leaves, right? And we're gonna lay that down. And look at this, I betcha, oh, isn't this a beautiful thing? When you can use a smaller cutting pad, life is so much better and faster. Okay, so we're gonna add those. And it looks like I'm gonna wanna cut another leaf really quick. So we're gonna pull this out, get that going. Look how cute those leaves are. And let's get one more leaf. And pull that out. The nice thing about the smaller cutting pads is it makes life so much faster when you just need to die cut a little tiny thing. Okay. And now we have our leaves. Oops. There we go. Okay, now here's another thing that I wanted to share with you. These leaves have a cutout on them. And you can see that this cutout is still in here because I didn't clean it. Remember how I always say a dirty die equals a dirty cutout? Well, technically I would call this a dirty cutout, meaning the inside is still attached. It's not even attached. If I poked it out, it would come out. But I kind of like that look a little better than this look on this card. So I'm gonna leave that one piece in, those two little pieces in there, and guess what? I'm gonna die cut it again. So now I'm gonna have another die cut that the pieces are still kind of in there, just to give it a different look. And it's gonna be a little bit different, and I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna peel that out gently because I don't want that extra piece to come out, and look at how fun that is. So here's the differences. You can see this one has the little pieces cut out and this one doesn't. Also, another fun thing to do, if you're not gonna pop these up and you're gonna lay them flat when you would hear them, you can cut it out in a different color and put different stems of the leaves in there and different colors, and it looks really nice. Okay, so we're gonna use those. We're going to, I've also die cut the white square by itself. So here, this square that I used for the thinking of you, I've also die cut it in white, and I'm gonna peel this up, and this would have been a good time to use my Sizzix adhesive, and I forgot. The worst thing in the world is when you forget to use your Sizzix adhesive and you go, ugh, darn, now I gotta try to add adhesive to that. So we're gonna give this a couple flicks, and it doesn't wanna flick out, so we're gonna actually have to poke them out. Go old school and poke them out, there we go. Okay, so now we have, whoops, one more. Two more. One there and one there. They're cut, don't worry, but they just need to be popped out. And we're going to add adhesive. Now I do have my scratch paper underneath me, so it's safe to add adhesive to this, but it's still, look how messy it gets. It's so much better to use that Sizzix adhesive. And after a couple times of having to do this, you start to really remember this Sizzix adhesive because it just turns everything into a sticker. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this to the white and line it up perfectly because it was the same die, so it should line, I mean it will line up perfectly. Okay, and kind of clean it up a little. There we go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to add adhesive to the back of this and add it to our cute little card, thinking of you. Put it down a little bit so you can see our little hello. And then we're going to add our little leaf, and we're gonna cut this one because we only need half of it. So we're just gonna cut that right there. Let's leave a little extra piece on there to adhere it. And we're going to get a little flower. Add adhesive, well, come on adhesive. Did we run out? Nope. Add a little bit of adhesive to this. I usually don't do adhesive on my secret weapon, but I have my scratch paper there, so it's okay. So I'm gonna add that right there. Is it on there? Okay. And then I've taken these cute little rhinestones and put glue dots on the back. So I'm just gonna add my little flower there, and I probably should do a glue dot on the back of this just to make life easier. And whoops, oh, come on. There we go. And we're gonna add this. Now I'm going to fold this up on those score lines, and I'm going to add my flower with it open so I don't accidentally glue it closed. Now that's starting to get sticky, so we're gonna move over here, and then we're gonna add some more flowers. So we're gonna grab this flower and get our other green leaves, add adhesive, add my flower. You can never go wrong with flowers. I am telling you, flowers and bling and rhinestones, you just cannot go wrong. So we're adding our little rhinestone and getting a little guy right there. We're gonna add that right there. And then, oh, one more flower, one more baby flower, and I cut out a little flower, so let's get a different one. Let's get this one. And we're gonna peel this one up. and add that one right there. And let's get some more adhesive. These glue dots, don't ever touch a glue dot. You're always gonna wanna have it on the roll and take your item and press that on it and lift up. And then that way you're not touching those little sticker boogers because, ooh, they are sticker boogers. Now, to finish off our card, we wanna do something on the inside. And I just simply have some stripped paper, some pattern paper, and I'm gonna add adhesive to mainly one side of it. And it is much larger than my normal card size, right? I do this on purpose because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this down and I'm gonna line it up on one edge, just like that. And then I could take it to a trimmer or I just turn it over and use the card as my guide and trim. Whoops, and trim. There we go, and now it's lined up. And then I have my little tiny belly button notch. I'm gonna pull that up just a little bit and I'm gonna lay that down. Now when this happens, and I like to show this in class too, when this happens, see how it's popped up a little? That's okay, you're gonna take your bone folder or your acrylic block or anything like that and you're going to score it even more. You're just gonna give it a nice press and then watch this. It's gonna stay in there perfectly. Now to finish this off, we just wanna add a little bit of ribbon. Look how cute this is. And I am going to tie a fun knot to make this easier. There, and we're gonna go around and around and around and around. And almost done. Tie that baby right there. And we're gonna trim this down just a little tiny bit. And right there. And there we go. Thinking of you, a cute little card to give to a friend or a neighbor or a family member, and so easy peasy. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Stephanie's Stamp Pad. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.